Well, I thank the gentlelady, and I noticed that the gentlelady from New Mexico just posited that it is Republicans who want to drive up the prices and the cost of everything for the American people. But what she doesn't tell you is what she means is that we don't believe that government funding is how you measure how people prosper in this country. And in fact, it is our Democratic colleagues who force through regulations and policies and programs that are making the American dream completely out of reach for the American people. We're seeing it every single day with the president and administration that literally doesn't care what the impact is on the average American family. 87% of Americans do not have student loans. Large numbers of Americans have paid off their student loans or are still working to do so. My wife, the product of a single mom who put herself through school and figured it out, is still paying off her loans, which she has done for 20 years now. That's the truth. My colleagues on the other side of the aisle want to ignore the Supreme Court. They want to end run both common sense and the law. They want to find ways to subsidize the handful at the expense of the many. And they're doing it not just with education, while they destroy our education system and undermine the American dream for the American people, but they're doing it with respect to chasing unicorn energy dreams while they subsidize billion-dollar corporations. They subsidize the wealthy with EVs, electric vehicles that cost $16,000 more than the average internal combustion engine. And now they've got a rule being carried out by executive fiat by the administration that they want to put in place, which will force by 2032 approximately 2/3 of the fleet being built for the American people to use for automobiles to be electric vehicles. Now, that might be concerning if you're a working class American, given that they cost $16,000 more, given that they are demonstrably more expensive to repair, given that they are demonstrably less flexible for your life. If you live, for example, in Texas, where you might need to drive from Austin to Midland or Austin to Dallas or Houston, or you need to be able to move around the state. You might be a farmer. You might need to haul goods and services. My colleagues on the other side of the aisle don't seem to care about people who live in the northern states that are cold, where batteries take a full charge just to defrost, in Alaska, for example. But that mandate doesn't seem to matter to my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, so you, the American people, are going to be the ones left holding the bag, unable to do your job, unable to carry out your livelihood, unable to afford the basics of life. The average American family is spending $11,000 a year more just to make ends meet since the beginning of this administration in January of 21. Now, this administration wants to pile on. My colleagues on the other side of the aisle want to stop us from doing our job in Article 1 to check an out-of-control executive branch, an out-of-control Biden administration that is bankrupting the American family, destroying the American dream. Republicans in this body, in this chamber, have been advancing bill after bill that would help the American people secure the border, have a strong national defense, help them afford education, stop the ridiculousness of these mandates driving up the cost of vehicles. And they send it over to the Senate and it dies. The only question is whether Republicans are going to stand up and jam down the throats of recalcitrant Democrats in this administration to change the policies of an administration that are undermining the American people and the American dream. That's the truth. That's the actual truth. I yield back.
I reserve.